Have you ever noticed how the quietest person in the room often holds the greatest influence? In a world obsessed with proving intelligence, skill, or talent, the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer offered a surprisingly simple yet powerful strategy: play dumb. Not out of weakness or ignorance, but because appearing less threatening can give you a subtle advantage in life. This idea may seem unusual, even counterintuitive. After all, aren't we taught to always showcase our strengths? Yet Schopenhauer believed true wisdom comes not from constant self-proving, but from mastering restraint. His own early experiences shed light on this insight. At just 19, his mother wrote him a letter that still resonates today, chiding him for always needing to know more than others, for trying to outshine and correct those around him. She warned that his sharp mind was being wasted, buried beneath arrogance. That hard truth stayed with him. Over time, Schopenhauer understood that raw intelligence, when flaunted, often alienates more than it attracts. Instead of respect, it stirs envy and resistance. The more you show off, the more others secretly hope to see you fail. So, he chose another path, one where you don't reveal your full hand immediately, one where your silence, patience, and humility slowly build respect without sparking resentment. Think of a chess game. A skilled player doesn't rush to show their strategy. Instead, they hold back, appearing uncertain, even weak, until the right moment arrives. Then, with one decisive move, they change the entire game. This is what Schopenhauer meant by playing dumb. It is not about being passive, it is about waiting until your actions matter most. Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese strategist, expressed a similar truth. When we are able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive. This wisdom works beyond the battlefield. In meetings, in classrooms, in negotiations, sometimes the one who speaks the least ends up shaping the final outcome the most. The quiet listener. Have you noticed that in any group there are usually two types of people? The ones who cannot stop talking and the ones who say very little. The first may get attention for a while, but the second often gets remembered. Why? Because listening is a rare skill. Schopenhauer believed that wisdom lies not in constant speech, but in knowing when to remain silent. Playing dumb allows you to observe more, learn more, and prepare more. And when you finally speak, your words carry greater weight. Plato once said, "Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something." When you play dumb, you're not surrendering intelligence, you're sharpening it. But what happens when you know someone is wrong? A colleague, a boss, or even a parent? Do you correct them directly? Schopenhauer warned against this. People by nature are protective of their dignity. If you embarrass them, they will resent you, no matter how right you are. The wiser move is to plant seeds of thought in their mind, so they believe they discovered the answer themselves by letting others win. You help them keep their pride while still guiding them toward the truth. This is why Schopenhauer once wrote to play the fool is the last resort in order to cover the defects of others. The aim is not to prove others wrong, but to preserve relationships by acting less clever than you are. You give others room to feel respected. In return, they trust you more deeply. Modern culture tells us to chase the spotlight, to share, post, and broadcast our victories. But Schopenhauer and many great thinkers before him advised against this hunger for attention. The Taoist sage Laozi said, "The sea wears rough clothing and holds the jewel in his heart." The meaning is clear. Keep your treasures inside. Don't parade them in front of everyone. People who constantly need attention often seem insecure. True strength is silent. Socrates also mastered this art. By pretending ignorance, he allowed others to reveal their own contradictions. His famous statement, "I know that I know nothing," wasn't weakness, it was power. Schopenhauer noticed the same truth in human nature. Most people obsess over how they are seen, But ironically, when you stop caring about being admired, you often gain more genuine respect. We've all met people who flaunt every achievement. Maybe it's a colleague who can't stop bragging, or a friend who always reminds you of their success. At first, their words may impress, but over time, such behavior becomes tiring. As the saying goes, the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. Playing dumb doesn't mean hiding your accomplishments forever. It means carrying them with humility. If you succeed, let your actions speak louder than your words. If you surprise people with your ability, then downplay it with modesty. That humility will win far more hearts than arrogance ever could. Kindness over cleverness. At the heart of Schopenhauer's teaching is a simple truth. Intelligence without kindness rarely wins lasting respect. People admire brilliance, but they cherish compassion. Think about it. When someone humiliates you by showing how wrong you are, do you admire them or do you secretly resent them? Most of us choose the latter. But when someone gently helps us without taking away our dignity, gratitude replaces resentment. Schopenhauer suggested that the wisest way to rise above others is not by proving them foolish, but by covering their flaws with patience. Playing dumb in these moments is not weakness. It is an act of generosity. This philosophy is not limited to intellectual debates or academic settings. It shows up in daily life, often in subtle ways. In families, aging parents may repeat themselves or insist on old habits. Correcting them harshly can create tension, but allowing them to feel capable and respected keeps harmony alive. In the workplace, pointing out your boss's mistakes directly can be risky. A better approach is to ask guiding questions or make suggestions in a way that lets them feel ownership of the idea. In friendships, when someone exaggerates a story or boasts, you don't always need to challenge them. Sometimes letting them enjoy the moment creates more peace than calling them out. Playing dumb here means prioritizing the relationship over the temporary satisfaction of being right. The strategy of silence. Silence is one of the most underrated powers we have. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Speak only if it improves upon the silence." Silence allows others to reveal themselves. When you don't rush to fill every gap in conversation, people often speak more freely. You learn more about who they are, what they value, and what they fear. This knowledge becomes strength. The more you understand others, the more you can navigate situations with wisdom. In contrast, those who always need to talk often miss the details that silence reveals. Why do most people struggle with this idea of playing dumb? Because of ego. We want recognition. We want others to notice how capable we are. Yet the ego's constant hunger often leads us into conflict. When we insist on being acknowledged, we push others away. Schopenhauer observed that people waste too much energy worrying about how they are seen. In truth, other people's opinions are fleeting. What truly matters is the inner strength we carry, not the applause we receive. By taming ego and letting go of the urge to prove ourselves at every turn, we become calmer, wiser, and more respected. This strategy of humility is universal. It works across cultures, professions, and relationships because it speaks to a deep human truth. People want to feel valued. Leaders who listen more than they speak earn loyalty. Teachers who let students discover answers on their own inspire curiosity. Friends who hold back judgment create safe spaces for honesty. Whether in business negotiations, family gatherings, or everyday conversations, those who master the subtle art of playing dumb often come out ahead. There is a quiet psychological advantage in appearing less capable than you truly are. People lower their guard, they underestimate you, and when the moment is right, you surprise them. This underdog advantage has been leveraged by great leaders, tacticians, and athletes throughout history. By holding back, by not revealing everything too soon, you leave room to act decisively when it counts. It's not deception, it's discipline. Respect built on fear or pride is fragile. People may comply, but deep down they resist. In contrast, respect built on humility lasts. When you allow others to shine, when you offer support without seeking credit, you foster trust. And over time, that trust becomes real influence. But perhaps the most powerful part of playing dumb is compassion. Everyone is fighting unseen battles. When you choose kindness over correction, silence over judgment, you ease those silent struggles. People begin to associate your presence with peace, not competition. And in a world dominated by noise, ego, and self-promotion, that kind of presence stands out. It lingers. So what can we take from Schopenhauer's unconventional wisdom? That sometimes the most intelligent thing you can do is stop trying to prove your intelligence. Sometimes true strength lies in appearing soft. Sometimes real wisdom is knowing when to act like a fool. By doing so, you protect relationships, earn trust, and gain quiet influence, not by force, but by understanding. In the end, playing dumb isn't about hiding who you are. It's about knowing when to speak, when to listen, and when to simply observe. It's about choosing humility over ego, patience over pride, and compassion over control. As you enter your next conversation, ask yourself, do I want to impress for a moment or be respected for a lifetime? Schopenhauer's answer was simple: play dumb, not because you lack intelligence, but because you're wise enough to use it with purpose.